Okay, for this second video, I'm going to show you how to use Tinkercad to create a 3D model to go on top of your light trinket. So again, starting from sciencerium.com, down under sites, we have this link called Tinkercad. Go ahead and click on that. So you'll need to create an account for Tinkercad, but it's a very simple 3D modeling program that is all done through the browser. Um, and it's just easy to learn and get going with it. It works out great for our purposes. So I've already logged in. You'll need to log in, create an account, and do all of that. What I'm going to show you how to make is this simple little model here. The only requirements for your design is that it's going to be a 1 by 1 inch square. So to get us started, um, before we do anything, it starts off with a millimeter grid, and so you'll want to click on this button of Edit Grid and change the units to inches. We can change it to 8 and 8 inches. That part's not very important. But when we drag in, so these are all of your shapes over here. So when you drag in a box, there it is. You have the basic geometric shapes, and then they've got some other fancier ones here. These arrows are for moving it around, and then all of these from points is so you can then adjust it. And what we want is a 1 by 1 inch cube. That's exactly what we want. Now, if for some reason you need to modify it, you can click and drag the corners. If you click the side, then you can click and move that with these little black squares there. So you can do different dimensions. But let's say if you're having a tough time dragging it, you can click on the ruler and drag that over. And now it kind of gives you all the dimensions of your shape, and you can click on individual ones and type in a number. So if I wanted this to be 1 inch, it's now going to be 1 inch, and same for that. And then you can close that ruler. If you, I think it's right click, then you can kind of rotate your object around. Now for this, we want it to be only an eighth of, or sorry, a 1/4 inch tall. So click this top rectangle, and we're just going to drag it down so it's a, actually sorry, yeah, I'll go with 1/4 inch. So we have 1/4 inch tall, so it's not too thin on the bottom. So there's our 1 by 1 inch cube, and it's 1/4 inch tall. So for my example, I used a gear. So there's some shape generators that are up here, and you don't have to use a shape generator. So I looked at the community, and these shape generators are kind of neat in that they're not just a shape, you actually modify things about it. So I think I use this gear. So I'm just going to click and drag that gear in. And now I've got the gear selected, I've got a bunch of different options I can actually change about it. I'm going to just leave everything as is right now and kind of rotating this around. I want to move my gear up. So this was a 1/4 inch high, so I want to move my gear so it is a 1/4 of an inch high. And I want to center these two. I could drag it over, but it gets kind of tricky to try and get it. So what I'll do is I'll select both objects and adjust, align, and here this will center align them in the different aspects. And so now my gear is centered in all different ways. The last part I wanted to do was add a hole. So I'm going to go back to my geometric shapes and drag in a cylinder. So you'll notice up here on the inspector, removing shapes, like so if you wanted to cut something out, you actually just use other objects, but you have it be a hole instead of a solid object. So I'm going to turn this circle or the cylinder into a hole, and I want this to be an 1/8 by an 1/8 inch. And again, I really suck at trying to center these things, so I'm just going to select all of it and adjust, align, and let Tinkercad do all the centering for me. All right, so now I've got a hole that goes through the object. It kind of lines up the bottom, but I've had some bad luck sometimes where if I want a hole to go all the way through, if it's right at the edge, it'll have like a little shell of it. So I can click on this arrow and actually just kind of drag that hole down So now I've got this tube, and it's about what I want. And so I'm going to select everything and group it. And by grouping it, it kind of gives me my finished shape of there's the hole in the object, um, and everything is done. You can always go back and ungroup the object if you ever want to edit things again. But so you can add in as many different objects as you want. In the only kind of constraints that you're going to have, you can ask Mary if you need more information on this or the other people that are in the room to help you, is that it has to be an inch by inch. And you really don't want it to be more than 1 inch because this is going to be going on top of your light trinket in a little 1 by 1 inch grid. And I suppose I'll show you that as well. So it's designed that it'll kind of go into this little slot on one of the other covers that you can put on there. So once you've got all of that and you're all done, you'll group it, and you'll notice that it just kind of automatically saves. You'll then download for 3D printing, and from there we'll then be able to load it up in 3D printer. We'll do that next week instead.